I think our job now as engineers at SalesRobot is all about how do we make context engineering easy for you.
I tried it originally for your AI agent. There are simple enough use cases where it could really lead to booking calls at scale.
What are some of the things you're excited about trying to improve your cold outreach further?
I'm actually really excited to get into kind of A/B testing with multiple accounts.
Multiple accounts is a clear hack because. Hello, everyone, and welcome to SalesRobot Customer of the Week, a new show where we interview the best SalesRobot customers and go deep into their tactics, including tips like personalization, messaging, and targeting strategy, so that you can take away some tips and implement in your cold outreach starting tomorrow. Today on the show, we have Sam, who's the founder at Culture Shock. Welcome to the show, Sam.
Thanks, Rob.
Okay, so let's get right into it. What does Culture Shock do?
Sure. So Culture Shock is a language learning platform. We prepare users for proficiency exams. We're differentiated by we use news content and then AI, and then we're constantly tracking users over time. And then our primary user who we're selling to are schools, government, and sometimes direct to families.
Awesome. What kind of tests are these? Are these like IELTS, that kind of exams, or what kind of exams are these people?
Are you familiar with CEFR? CEFR, it's the European standard. Then there's ACTFL, which is the American standard. We're implementing IELTS, which is for immigrants coming to the US. So we have a lot of flexibility on what we can support.
Got it. No, makes sense. I think this is a really good space to go after, given how much spend goes into it and how outdated some of the current methods are.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get into this campaign. So this campaign obviously worked really well. You almost had a 40% reply rate. So I'll not bury the lead. I'll first share my screen and so that everybody can see the stats and then talk me through the campaign. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So this was the campaign that performed the best. Actually, all of your campaigns have performed really well because the average reply rate on our platform is close to 10 to 20%. So this is, way above average, right? 2 sigmas ahead. I think all of these campaigns are. So first of all, congrats on all of these campaigns.
Thank you. Yeah. I love the platform, by the way. It's really easy to use.
Thank you. By the way, I didn't ask Sam to say this, so this is all.
Yeah, no, I received no funding for this.
So I'm not part of his seed round yet. Okay, so let's get into the campaign then. Who are you reaching out to for this campaign?
Yeah, so this is a direct outreach to angels, and the name is in itself. We're raising our seed round. We're in the middle of the round, targeting anyone on LinkedIn who somewhere in their profile says they are an angel investor.
Got it. Angel investor, startup investor, or SaaS or seed. Okay, so you're going after these particular titles, and then you have the industry filter as well because you want people who are interested in the education space or the internet space.
Exactly.
These. Okay, now really neat targeting list. I think you have 12,000 people, and then you're going global or just US? Be global, right? Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. That's why we got this many. All right, perfect. So let's get into your messaging. So simple 2-step campaign. Talk to your connection request.
Yeah. So here, we've iterated on it a few times. I want to say at the beginning, we had a good response rate, but I feel like the mistake we made was being too direct. So I'd say something along the lines of, this is what I'm building. This is what we're seeking to do. Is this something that you're interested in? And we would very quickly get just flat out no's. Sometimes there'd be some interest, but the quick no was very common. And so we pivoted to this, do you know anyone who has invested in the education space? And that's led to much more meaningful conversations.
Makes sense. It makes a ton of sense. This reminds me of some research that SalesLoft did, and SalesLoft is a billion-dollar company in our space. They had this research that said that if you have the phrase "right person" in your messaging, or basically asking for referrals, do you know the right person for this? Then the response rates on average is 10% higher, and the conversations are way more meaningful. So obviously, this tactic works.
Yeah. And like throughout all of this, I actually have a sales coach. And something he's like beating into me is create a buying atmosphere. And all that means is you need to create enough space for whoever's reading your content or whoever you're talking to be able to say no quickly. But you don't necessarily want them to. You want to give them some opportunities to think through, what is it that this person is selling me? And then actually feel the freedom to make the decision on, are they interested in buying?
Yep. I love that. I love that because you're giving them a very natural out. And here you're not even selling them on anything, right? There's just a very networking message, if that's a word.
And the surprising part of here in this too is the people who are interested are still willing to say, I'm actually the person you should be talking to. So
Right.
you get this dual, it's two pronged. You are getting some references as well as the people who you're directly going to. That still works.
The copywriting never fails to seize me as the single most important skill, right? That an entrepreneur can have. And this is great copy. So kudos on that. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And then step number 2 is just like.
Yeah, so that one, I don't have metrics on what is the like what am I actually getting from that, but I do feel like it's pretty common where I'll see I sent out a request and then a couple or 2 days later they do accept it. And I feel like this like is important. It just keeps us fresh in their mind, but there's no tracking there. So I don't know if that's actually doing much.
Yeah, I mean, the reason we even added all of these features is because, again, sends them a notification like, hey, Sam just liked your post. So they're like, oh, the same Sam that just sent me a connection request. So they sort of see your name again. And that's the entire point of having these sort of, we call them pre-connect warm-up, but it's fascinating to see you it as a post-connect tool. What we usually see people do is, okay, I have not sent a connection request. I'll warm this person up. So follow, like, view, and then you go for a connection request, right? So that works, but it even works as a post connection request mechanism because they will see both those, active notifications, and that is what leads to connection acceptances and replies. And obviously, it's working for you. So
Maybe that's why my response rate is so high. I mean, it's probably not the only thing, but could definitely benefit it.
awesome. No, this is great. This is great. I love it. Okay, so let's get into your journey a little bit. I know we got into it before as well, but what are some of the mistakes you made when you first started doing cold outreach?
I feel like I've done this with every campaign that I've done where I'm very direct. Like it's my natural style to just ask, like, are you interested? Because I don't want to waste time. And I realize that's just not the way to do sales. It puts too much pressure on the buyer. So this campaign, we just walked through it pretty straightforward what I'm doing. The best campaign I've had, and this is again more anecdotal than the metrics, but it's the previous campaign. I was setting up an internship program for culture shock where we wanted college students who are studying a language to come and work with us for the summer, just 12 weeks async online. And rather than reaching out to college students, I reached out to professors asking, do you know of anyone, whether they're in your class or people that you've worked with, who would be interested in the internship program? And that led to like literally hundreds of possible students to work with us. And
Yeah,
I want to say it was not just that we weren't selling a product, but we were asking the potential, let's say, buyer who professors will, at some point be part of our sales pipeline.
that's right.
We're asking them to do something that they already love to do, which
That's
is
genius.
help their students.
Yeah. Yeah, that's genius. I love it. And you're also getting a much wider audience, right? Because one professor will have X number of students, and that X is typically 50 to 100 or more. So you're opening yourself up to awareness to a wider audience as well, because they might mention it to a couple of students who might mention it to others. So really nice organic word of mouth seeding as well.
Right. Exactly.
Love it. Okay, now these are great tactics. Okay, so final question then. What are some of the things you're excited about trying to improve your cold outreach further?
Yeah. I have two that come to mind immediately. One, right now it's just my account. Like I'm kind of leading this, and especially as we test out SalesRobot and all the different features. But I'm actually really excited to get into kind of A/B testing with multiple accounts, where we can do multiple messages to the same audience, but we can also test multiple sales channels at the same time and see, if we're going direct to professors, we know we can have some traction there, but maybe we can go to heads of HR or immigration. Like there's all these different layers within language learning that we want to be able to test each vertical. But right now we're focused with, one account. Multiple accounts can actually make us scale our sales outreach much more quickly.
Yeah, yeah. Multiple accounts is a clear ad because every day, if somebody is using 5 accounts and you're using 1 account, they're pushing out 5x the volume. And outbound, still is a numbers game, right? Volume is king. So if you're testing multiple channels and somebody's doing 5x the volume you're doing in a single day, they're just going to test more and learn more about the market and do better. So, yeah, volume is king. I love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
And then the one other thing I was going to mention, and we didn't, I tried it originally for this angel outreach, and it's your AI agent. I found that for this specific campaign, the conversations were a little too complicated. Not necessarily, it's just there's such a wide scope of what an investor can ask. It's hard to make sure that you have the right context or enough context baked in. And then the AI can sometimes get a little long-winded, which just feels unnatural in these conversations when they're typically looking for a two-word response. So I didn't use it for angel outreach, but I do know there are simple enough use cases where it could really lead to booking calls at scale.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think our AI agent was anyway a very beta experimental feature that we did, and we're continuously pushing improvements. I think just last week we introduced the version 20 of the product. So every day we're making changes there. Every day we're making UI UX changes. And but you're absolutely right. Like if it doesn't have a ton of context on the business, it won't be able to do a great job. Like the CEO of Box recently, Aaron Levy. I was watching an interview from him, and he was like, today the great AI agent companies are doing something called context engineering and not prompt engineering, because if it doesn't have enough context, it won't do a great job. So I think our job now as engineers at SalesRobot is all about how do we make context engineering easy for you so that you get relevant replies in your style and eventually you're able to replace yourself, which is the dream.
Yeah, and this might be helpful, but as you think through it, one, making the context engineering as easy is obviously like definitely focus there. But focusing on the right conversations to actually apply it to in the first place is also important. And for instance, an angel investor might ask me, have you seen this specific feature in this product?
Right.
Completely unrelated to language learning, but it's still, there's an analogous use case. It could be interesting. And maybe I have looked at it, but I might have never thought, oh, that needs to be part of the context. And just that level of specificity, like if you're in conversations that require that, then the AI might not actually be the best for that unless you can maybe prompt the user in those moments and say, hey, we don't actually have the information for this. This is where you need to intervene.
That's where we're going. So we actually have the AI in two modes, a co-pilot mode or an autopilot mode. So we don't even suggest that you should use the AI in autopilot mode anyway, at least until you're super confident. At least you've used it in Copilot for a couple of months. And then that really gives you a sense of these are all the edge cases that I'm missing in the context. And obviously you don't know what you don't know and it won't ever be perfect. But the goal is to get to 80 to 90% of your workflow. And the goal is for you to save time, right? So you have the AI generate a reply, you edit it, send it, and then over time it learns from your interactions. So we're definitely in that camp, that continuous learning camp, where the AI actually learns from the edits you're making to it. And Copilot mode is the perfect foil for that because it just sees you make edits to what it has suggested.
Yeah. Very
All right. Awesome, Sam. So thank you so much for making the time. That's all the time we had today. For the people who want to find out more about you and Culture Shock, where can they find you?
Find me on LinkedIn, go to our website, cultureshock.ai. And if you made it this far and you're interested in using the product, as you subscribe, if you use the promo code SalesRobot, we'll give you 50% off on your first year.
Awesome. So love a founder who always tracks attribution of whatever he's doing. So thank you so much for that, Sam. We'll put all of that in the show notes. And thank you so much again for making the time.
Thank you so much, Sharaf.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
You too.